Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to day 2 of the Public Management Academy cohort number 11 project presentations. Just wanted to say how proud and humbled I am to see how the first day went. Those projects were phenomenal. Kat and I have been talking about them ever since and really bragging about you all and just the quality of work. Like you have exceeded our expectations beyond belief and just raised the bar as far as what PMA is all about. And I really can't wait to see and hear the stories about how the projects have continued to make an impact and create a legacy truly in your organization, in the community that you serve. So we are super pumped to have today to continue on. I know that Kat has been working with several groups for day 2, and they said that the momentum is going to continue, that it's just the same level of quality and the bar is raised and it is staying there. So I can't wait to get started for today. This is, to me, one of the highlights of what we do. Why we do this is to see the growth and the final product of what this program is all intended to do. So again, thank you on behalf of the university, on behalf of our college, and on behalf of our center. We're so honored to have the chance to walk with you in your development. Proud to see how you've grown over time and really that you're taking us back and making a difference to the community. I talk to my team all the time about, like, I'm not going to worry about on my deathbed what my 401k or my inheritance is to my kids or whatever, but I am going to worry about the number of people that we serve and hopefully the impact that our work does in the community. And if this is just a small sliver as to what that overall body of work is going to be, I know that I'm going to be able to rest in peace. And so I thank you so much for that, for doing that. You all are superstars, rock stars, and I look forward to continuing to work with you as your career evolves. So I'm going to pass it over to Kat. And before I do that, I want to say thank you, Kat, for everything you've done to just take this whole machine and take it to another level. It has just been an honor to work with you, and you've just done a fantastic job to enhance the program, work with the participants, make sure that they're all ready to rock and roll, and just lead a good team here at the school. So thank you for everything that you've done. So over to you.
Right. Thank you so much, Rob. Okay, so I just shared my screen. So we have the agenda up right now, the program. So you all have a copy of this. The schedule is included in here. Okay, so if you want to have a look at where we are today. Okay, so this is where we're starting today on March 8th. And you can see Erica is first. Okay, if you scroll through the program, remember that there are little summaries of each project. So if you wanted to have a peek at those ahead of time, you're welcome to do so. This morning, we're going to start with Erica. Erica is from the Richland County Soil and Water Conservation District.
Good morning. My name is Erica Thomas. I'm the director for the Richland Soil and Water Conservation District. I am a member of cohort 11 of the Public Management Academy, and I'm pleased to talk to you today about my project, which is development of a standard operating procedures manual. So who is the Richland Soil and Water Conservation District, and why do we need a standard operating procedures manual anyhow? Well, first, let me introduce you to the staff of the Richland Soil and Water District. There's myself. I have 5 technicians that work in the office, and then I have an outreach coordinator. Zoe and Sam are the newest additions to our district. They just started in the last 2 weeks. But going back even farther, our district was actually created in 1948, so we just celebrated 75 years last year. But going back even a little bit farther than that, the creation of soil and water districts was something that came out of one of the worst environmental disasters that we've seen in the United States, and that was the Dust Bowl. And this happened because the federal government was actually promoting poor farming practices at that time, including tilling up all the lands, because they believed that rain would follow the plow, which we now know that is not how it works, but that's what they believed back at that time. And so as settlers were following their manifest destiny and spreading westward across the United States, they were plowing up all that land and digging up all those native plants that had those deep roots that were holding that soil in place. And so as dust storms or storms moved across the United States, that wind would erode that soil and pick it up and blow it across in these big dust clouds. The worst of these dust storms happened on May 12th, 1934, and that's became known as Black Sunday because it was so bad it reached all the way to Washington, D.C. And of course, that alarmed our U.S. Congress, and that made them want to take action. And so they passed legislation in 1935, which established the Soil Conservation Service under the U.S. Department of Agriculture. But you have to remember, at that time, we had something called the Great Depression going on, and people just weren't really that excited about working with the federal government. And they found that that may not be the best solution at that time. So states started to adopt legislation to create local soil and water districts. And in Ohio, we created legislation in 1941. So in 1948, that's when Richland County established our Soil and Water Conservation District. We are a standalone political subdivision of the state. And what that means is we're not a county agency, we're not a state agency, we are our own political subdivision. So that means we're responsible for everything within our district, financials, HR, hiring, personnel, anything that happens, we are responsible for it. So it's a lot. And we are governed by a board of 5 publicly elected supervisors. These are people that go through the same kind of public election as any other public official, but they are unpaid and they're basically volunteers of the district. And I bring that up because in this next slide that shows our timeline of our history, you can see that our unpaid volunteer board supervisors exclusively ran our district for almost the first 30 years. We didn't have the first director hired until 1974. And really the leadership of our district has only had 4 directors, and I'm number 4. So it's just a very interesting organization how we operate. But we were pretty excited because last year in 2023, our district was named the District of the Year for the whole state of Ohio out of all the 88 districts. And so we were pretty excited about that. And there's a lot of things that led up to that point to be named as the District of the Year. And I want to share a picture of us receiving that award last year at our annual meeting with all the other districts. But there's a lot of things that led to that award because we keep very busy in this county. It's called Rich Land for a reason because we have a very diverse geography and very diverse customers that we work with. We've got a big urban area in the city of Mansfield and some other smaller urban areas, but then we also have a lot of very rural areas with farmers, Mennonite and Amish populations. We have very flat ground up in the northern part of the county. Then we have very rolling, beautiful hills in the southern part of the county. We have 8 different watersheds, and we have the Continental Divide running through our county. So 3 drain up north and the other 5 drain south. So there's just a lot of different people and situations that we're trying to help. And so we've got a lot of different programs that we manage. And you can see in this diagram, anything in blue represents some of the impacts we had last year for stormwater in the county. Yellow is any of our public events and our outreach kind of activities, workshops, things like that. And then green is the agricultural. And this is just a quick overview of just some of the services that we offer. We just seem to have our hands in everything in the county. We're very, very involved, work with a lot of different people. And so that led us up to then last year, we were feeling pretty good about where we had come over the last 75 years and reflecting on what got us here and wanting to keep that momentum going so we can continue that level of service. So we decided to go through a strategic planning process. And the first step of this process, we hired a consultant to come in, and he performed a DISC assessment on the staff and our board, which is, like a personality test to make sure we could work together in the most effective way, because we knew we'd be spending a lot of time together talking about some high level things, and just wanted to make sure everybody understands each other and can work cooperatively. Then we went through a SWOT analysis where we evaluated our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats as a district as a whole. We then put out a community survey to anyone that wanted to participate that lives in Richland County, and this was to evaluate how we're doing as a district and what they think about our services and if we are providing what they need. And then finally, we invited selected people to come to a strategic conservation conversation, and say that 3 times fast, but this was about a 4-hour session that we sat down with a group of people that represented different interests in the county to talk about what are the natural resource issues they see coming up in the next 5 years, because this county is expected to see some growth. We're on that 3rd tier of the Intel impact that's coming, and just the county's seeing a lot of growth overall. So what are the challenges they see to the natural resources, and then what can our district do about it? What things should we be looking at over the next 5 years? And so out of this process, we came up with a number of goals, but there were 6 overarching goals that we focused on in our strategic plan. The first was to maintain and grow our existing programs. Secondly, develop opportunities for younger people to engage with our district, because we have a lot of older people that volunteer with us, but we're trying to reach that younger population as we age out. Broaden our financial support and partnerships. Expand agriculture and stormwater education in the county. Update our stormwater regulations because they have not been updated since 2006, so it's been a while. And then finally, the reason that's brought me to this project today is we want to work on succession planning and training. And the reason for that is we only have 7 staff members in this district, but 2 of us are eligible to retire in the next 5 years, and that includes myself. And so we are looking ahead to make sure we can plan for the future transitions. So what is a standard operating procedures manual, and why do we need one? Well, a standard operating procedures manual is a document that outlines the step-by-step procedures and guidelines for completing specific tasks or processes within an organization. This serves as a comprehensive reference guide for employees, detailing the correct methods, protocols, and best practices to follow in various scenarios. So the standard operating procedures manual is instrumental in succession planning because it helps mitigate risks that are associated with leadership changes, preserves institutional knowledge when someone leaves, maintains operational efficiency, and facilitates the development of future leaders within the organization. So I included this quote from Ben Franklin to say, "A place for everything and everything in its place." And that's how I see this manual, is it is organizing everything we do into just one location that we can refer to. So my goals for developing the standard operating procedures manual was, we're a small staff and it's very disruptive when someone leaves, and it can really be a drain of institutional knowledge if that person's knowledge was kept up in their head instead of documented somewhere that they can leave behind. And as I mentioned, our district was named the District of the Year, and we want to keep that progress and momentum going. And as I also mentioned, 2 of our 7 district staff can retire in the next 5 years. But during this PMA course back in January, we lost one of our technicians, and so we had to scramble to replace him. And I just kept thinking how nice it would have been if I was done with this project and had this standard operating procedures manual ready to train the new person. Finally, we just completed our strategic planning process, and this will memorialize the procedures we do to make it happen. So I looked at the SMART goals that would be involved in developing this manual. And for the specific goal, it's developing this manual for our district. It's measurable because we can inventory and ensure all of the procedures that we do are documented for all the main processes in the district. It's attainable because we're using existing equipment and staff expertise without any additional investment. It's relevant because it will enhance the quality and consistency in aligning with our commitment to excellent customer service. And then I've put on here the time, the goal for the time. I've got next spring of 2025. And the reason for that is I am eligible to retire in 5 years, but I have my youngest daughter graduating from college next spring, and she already has a job offer out west, and my son already lives out west. And so there will be nothing holding me back in Ohio once both of my kids are out there, and I'm probably going to pick up and move with them. And so I've been working with my board to plan for this, knowing that I'm probably going to be leaving next year. And so I really want to get this manual prepared and ready before I leave. So there's some objectives of completing the standard operating procedures manual. And the first is financial objectives. That way we'll spend less time and money training new employees. It'll continue with meeting our strategic goals we've already started with the prior staff rather than having to start all over again. Then we have customer objectives of providing continuity of our programs and processes that the customers have come to expect from our office. We have learning objectives. By having our processes and procedures documented, it gives an opportunity to look at the areas of improvement. And then finally, our internal objectives are to prepare for staff turnover and document the processes so that we are all consistent, sharing the same goals and vision. Am I supposed to be watching the chat? Oh, okay, I can see that's not for me. Okay.
No, you don't need to.
Okay. So I went through another SWOT analysis, but this time for this project specifically. And the strengths of this project, it'll provide a reference manual for all the staff, helping employees learn their job more quickly and understand the expectations of the office. The weaknesses, it will be pretty high level because it's impossible to document each and everything that we do. I mean, some things are just always going to take judgment calls, critical thinking, and analysis, and you can't really document everything, but we definitely can get the high level processes. And it's also a weakness to get buy-in from all the current employees because, this is extra work I'm putting on them and we're already pretty busy. So that's something that's been a little hard to work through. Not only will this help with transitional planning, but an opportunity comes that we will provide standards of consistency and more definition of our current jobs, giving the current employees more recognition for what they're already doing. I anticipate this process is going to result in updates needed for their current job descriptions, as we've been uncovering some things they're doing that weren't already on their job descriptions. And finally, the threat. This is very time consuming to develop, and we really just don't have very much downtime to work on this. We do our own HR and training, so we don't have experts that are out there that we can pull in to help us. We're pretty much on our own to do this on top of our other responsibilities. And it's our first time. We have no template to start with. We're starting totally from scratch. And finally, it's a challenge to get everyone to agree on one way of doing all these processes to document, because I've realized some of my technicians have different ways of approaching things. And while it might end up in the same end result, they've had different ways of getting there. And so we have to figure out how to get that documented in a way that's consistent. The scope of my project. So the first is to identify and document the processes that are used by the staff. Next, standardize these procedures. Assemble all these procedures into a reference manual format and then distribute that. And then finally train the staff and update the standard operating procedures as needed with continuous feedback and improvements as we see it. So for the process and method next step, I've already met with my staff and worked on mapping out their processes. The next step is taking these processes and converting it into a manual with consistent style and formatting, and then providing training and continuous improvement. So I have a note here that I know everyone is busy, but we really need to keep the momentum up and keep going on this. And we don't want to forget to complete this when, when this PMA class is done. It's going to be hard for me to keep the momentum going, but I need to. I've got to keep working on this. So my to-do list is to put regular time on all of our calendars to work on this and keep working on this with goals to meet on the specific chapters we're working on. That's the only way this is going to get done by spring of next year. And I'm committed. I'm going to get it done. So thank you for taking the time to listen to my project, and thank you to Carla Reniger from Cuyahoga Soil and Water for being my partner in this class, and good luck to everybody in PMA. Thank you.
That was amazing. Thank you so much, Erica. What an
Thank you.
awesome job. I loved your slides.
Thank
And
you.
see all the PMA was threaded throughout that. So thank you so much for being a part of this program.
Thank you.
I have a couple, let's see, we've got a couple comments coming in. Please make sure you are putting questions in the chat, in the Q and answer. I'm sorry, not the chat, put them in the Q and answer. And also I did post the evaluation. So if you have not seen that yet, it is in the chat. I'll post it again in a moment. Let's get to the questions. Let's see here. We have Steven Zimmerman. What is your planned interval once implemented to review and revise SOPs?
What's my plan into it? I'm thinking we're gonna have to meet monthly, just put aside a couple hours every month to just start hammering away at these chapters and meet individually with each of my staff that are involved in each chapter, and then hopefully have a draft of this done by the end of the year, because I'll need to run this by the board and get their buy-in and such. So that's pretty much what I'm thinking, is monthly, have something on our calendars.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
I have a question for Mary Sywerka. Oh, this was just a comment. Fantastic presentation and graphics. You made the history so clear and concise. Great use of PMA tools.
Thank you.
And then I have Lakia Montgomery. How specifically are you preparing a successor for your role?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have somebody in mind, but I haven't talked to this person yet, but I have been having some discussions with my board to give some recommendations on some people and some skills that these people are going to need to have to come into this position. So I think it's something my board is really going to have to take ownership of, but I'm definitely trying to be, a resource and give my suggestions and such.
Great, thank you. Good luck with that. It's gonna be hard to fill your shoes.
Oh, thank you.
We have a great job from Carla, and also Chaz echoed that. Rob, I'm sure Rob has something he wants to say. Rob, do you want to come on camera for a moment?
Yeah, I really want to say thank you for using all the tools. Like I agree with Mary, like it was really neat to see how you took all the different PMA tools and applied them over and over again. So I want to say congratulations
Thank
there. To me, what the two things that I'm hearing about constantly from organization is the baby boomer retirement and the great resignation. And that the idea of actually putting in the SOPs and manuals and things like that is now like starting to really bite people in their yeah. Anyway, it's because it's like it's just you lose that institutional memory. So I know it's a pain in the sense of your every day you got your work and putting out fires, but if you don't have that manual that's there for as a resource for the new people to come in and to carry on, you're gonna just cripple your organization. So I
Absolutely.
know that you're gonna continue with this, but it's such a needed tool. Like you can't function without it. So
I
thank you.
agree. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. I had a question. I know this is kind of probably off the mark here, but is there any possibility that you can continue to work there even remotely, like after you leave? Like, is there a way that you could still like lead the organization even if you're from a different state, or are they saying no?
That hasn't even come up, to be honest, but I spent 20 years as a budget analyst for the state of Ohio, and I kind of like to get back to the budget work, and I've been exploring some opportunities out in Montana. So, but I appreciate the thought there.
I'm just saying for somebody that's got all your knowledge, I mean, I'm sure they would love to tap into it. But you're going to go to the state of Montana?
I am. I actually had an interview yesterday, so it might even be sooner than what I was planning on.
Well,
But
best of luck.
yeah, I'm really anxious to get out where my kids are, and I've wanted to move out there for years and was holding back to get my kids through school. And my daughter's so close. She's in the civil engineering program, and she already has a job offer out west when she graduates. So I mean, everybody's going to be out there but me. So
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. It was a fantastic project, a great way to start day two. Just
thank you.
knocked out. I gotta get that plastic microphone because I'm breaking things again, dropping the mic. So
Thank you.
Great,
Yeah.
congratulations.
I have another question here for you, Erica.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle. Kyle said he loved the presentation. Have you considered hiring an intern to assist with preparing SOP or other activities to free you up to focus on SOP?
Oh, that is a great idea. That is a great idea. Yeah, that I hadn't thought about an intern, but you know, you're brilliant. I should really look into that. But it's
Awesome.
so hard to find time. I mean, I'm torn in so many directions. So that's great.
You know what? We might be able to help you with that too, Erica. So if you need
Oh,
any help finding one, let us know.
yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
sure. We have a lot of people just saying great job. They loved your slides. So lots and lots of feedback here that it just seems like everybody really enjoyed your presentation.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it very much.
And Montana, wow, that's gonna be amazing. I've always wanted to go there. I've heard it's just absolutely gorgeous, the landscape and whatnot. So I
Well,
hope
when I'm out there, everybody's welcome to come and visit.
right. All right. Well, thank you so much,
Thank you.
Erica. It was amazing. Next up, we have Shola Oho. Shola is from the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District. Shola, over to you.
Great, thank you, Kat. Good morning, everyone. My name is Shola Ojo. I'm the Manager of Finance and Compliance with the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District. I am part of PMA Cohort 11, and my presentation, it's about financial reporting for the sewer district. So the mission statement is to successfully create and migrate financial reports utilizing various financial reporting platforms into one reporting system that captures end users' needs and flexibility to meet different reporting needs and demands for financial users as well. So just a quick background with the sewer district. So I've been here since 2019. And obviously, we are an organization that prides ourselves on improving our technology to help us get our work done, which is ultimately to keep the lake clean, the rivers clean, and to make sure that what goes into our water system is treated. So we have about 3 main plants. One of those plants it's called Satellite Waste Treatment Plants. And then the other one is westerly, and the last one is easterly. And those are located throughout Northeast Ohio for our customer services. The key objective of this project is to create financial reporting system from our current financial system to a new platform. So we currently have about 3 platforms that we can run financial information through. And the goal here is to migrate all the system into one big financial system and use that rather than having various financial reporting systems. The key thing for us is to also implement a comprehensive awareness plan for end users on the reporting system and to make sure that there's improved capabilities and ultimately for them to get on the new platform. So one of the key things that we have to do is provide adequate training to users on how to use and run the financial reporting system, and to also communicate effectively with all the stakeholders throughout the project, which would include the finance department, the IT department, and then the various departments in the organization that utilize financial reports. So ultimately, the vision of the project is to improve efficiency, accuracy, and compliance of financial reporting. And it's going to provide a more modern and secure environment for financial data reporting, which will allow for better end users experience, allow for collaboration opportunities, and improve data visualization and data presentation structure. So I looked at a few of the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats of trying to do this kind of project. And obviously, when you look at the strengths, one of the key strengths is that it's going to improve efficiency. So we're going to try to automate more financial reports so that this frees up time for data analysts or financial analysts to do more analytical dive into the data. improved accuracy. So just the way we build the system, testing out the data before we roll it out, should help us improve the accuracy, improve compliance. So one thing we see is that users have various needs of financial information when they need it. However, you might not understand what that information is showing. So our goal is to improve the compliance by having more of a system that is tied to finance first and then goes down throughout the organization because the data will be vetted. And then improve reporting capabilities. So hopefully we'll be able to have data visualization reports, ad hoc reporting, and being able to drill down into the data that we haven't been able to do before. So what are some of our weaknesses? Time. It takes a lot of time to actually develop a new process, new financial reports. So throughout this project, we've kind of seen that time is a big factor. And then risks. So there could be risks that as we're working on this project, we're not able to capture what we want to see, maybe through accuracy or system capabilities. So it might not meet our expectations. Disruption. So one thing you see is when you move into a new project phase, implementing new reporting system, it takes a few tries for employees to learn the new procedures and processes because you're so used to the old system versus trying to get into a new system. And then cost. It's expensive. I mean, tracking all the time, hours that is going to be put into developing the new reports and vetting the new system, it's going to take time. And then on the expense side, salaries, training new users, and then overall buy-in from the organization, getting all the organization to buy into what we're trying to establish. But what are some of the opportunities? Flexibilities, you can access the report in one platform and the data is verified. Again, collaboration, users are able to share knowledge to improve the financial reporting tool. Reduce cost, having one reporting system versus multiple systems helps eliminate redundancies. Data migration, which allows for to verify data for accuracy and test against new and old system. Some of the threats we see is data transfer. So when you're moving data, you could lose data or all the data you're trying to get into the system is not there. Users resistance. When you're used to older systems and how things are ran, trying to get buy-in from the group to a new report can show up some resistance right there. And system limitations and inadequate change management. So system limitations meaning the system is not able to do what we actually want it to do. And then inadequate change management, not going through the proper channels to make sure that the goal of the project is understood throughout the organization and is moving through a process where procedures are being followed and policies are being followed as well. So our financial reporting coordination. So the overview financial reporting projects is to consolidate the financial reports for end users in a new financial reporting tool, which includes data visualization, ability to filter data, and one centralized reporting tool for financial information. Update currently, so the update of where we are through the project is we're still in the process of developing and testing the reports. Some of the challenges we faced includes security for end users and trying to determine how that should work. And overall, our outcome is to have the new financial report for users to run in the new platform. Ultimately, we have to still get buy-in from our chief financial officer, and that's going to go along through our project phase. So the future state is to have better coordination for reports that allow for central source and collaboration. And we're hoping that by June 24, we'll have the system up and running. And our goal is to create about 10 to 15 reports, which we've already started. And again, this is going to be for the end users of the organization. So this is just kind of showing the flow of what we want to deliver during the project. And we're working through that phase as we speak. So our key team members, so obviously I'm the lead for this project, but we are working in conjunction with IT to help us really put the reports together and to vet the system. And our key sponsor is going to be our Chief Financial Officer to help us champion what we're trying to do with migrating to a new system. So most of the subject matters experts is going to be the IT department and finance. And the director of observation is my team in finance and IT as well. So just getting to how our reports are laid out. So we have 3 main reporting tools that we currently use right now for financial information. So the first one is Oracle ABS, which is where all our financial data is stored and all our financial transactions are accomplished. So the system has a financial reporting tool that we can use to run reports. And then Noetics is kind of a product that doesn't live in Oracle EBS. It's kind of outside that process, but it taps into the data source in Oracle and we can run financial reports through that. Another thing we do use is Excel files to kind of create our ad hoc reports, but those reports are are more tied to the individual users. But we have standard reports that we use for our monthly reports, our quarterly reports that we send to the board, updating them on the financial results of the organization. So our goal is to merge all these various reports into our one big financial reporting platform, which is going to be Oracle Apex. So what are the advantages of the new system? Well, the first thing is the data warehouse access. So the new system will be able to go right into our Oracle ABS system. And also you can import Excel files into the new system to create more data so that you can then create the reports. And then the other thing that we do like with the platform is the ease of creating the reports in Apex. Seems to be a little bit easier compared to how things were being done in the prior systems. Also, we'll be able to have graphical reporting. It's more end user friendly. The layout is friendly as well. And the key thing that we like to see is the attachment viewing. So for example, if you pay an invoice, if you want to see the invoice itself, besides just looking at the transactions, you can actually view the attachment of the invoice right in the platform, which is a key thing when you're doing audits for your end of the year audits and being able to provide auditors quick information as they are requesting for supporting documentation. So actually, before the project started, we had to develop a plan of, okay, what reports were we trying to look for? And how do we want to organize this information? So yeah, the various big sections in finance that you usually want to create reports for. So those include budgeting, procurement, accounts payable, accounts receivable, trial balance, general ledger, inventory, income statement, monthly reports, quarterly reports, cash reports, and ACFR reports, which are audit reports when you do your external audit for the year. So this view allowed us to determine how we want to strategically put the reports together in the system, in the new system, and allow for end users to be able to get in, see what they need, and go right into those folders. Each of these folders could have multiple reports. It could be 1 report, it could be 20 reports. It just depends on what we need as an organization and what the financial users want to see in the reports as well. So to get started, we determined to figure out where are these reports currently located in the older system. Is it in EBS? Is it in Noetics? Or is it in Excel? So we kind of saw that some of our reports were in different systems. And this view kind of gave us an understanding of why exactly we needed to try to get one reporting source to do what we need to do. And that's what we've been working on. And before we started the report, we knew that we had to take a short-term view and a long-term view. Some of the reports we know we could easily get in there, create them, test them, vet them, make sure the data is correct. However, some of the other reports that is in the long-term view, we realize it might take us a while to finish all those reports just because some of those reports there's multiple reports that we have to build, and we're still learning how to put different type of reporting data together. For example, you might need a report to have calculations. So how do we actually do that and test it and make sure it's working? So we just picked the short-term reports first as a strategy to help us through the project. And then we put these other reports in a long-term view, meaning that we'll work with these reports over time. Might take us months, might take us years, but we will eventually get there. So we also wanted to think of how should these reports look like? What information would they show? And what we saw was some of these reports will be in tabular format, meaning that it's just going to be rows and columns. And some of the reports can be graphical, meaning that if you want to show a pie chart, a column chart that tells a better story of the financial information you're looking at, then it will make sense. So for example, if you're doing a financial report to the board, you would like to have a lot of graphs so that the story can be told better and easier, and end users can understand it. But for people in the financial department, they will want to see columns because the data they want to see might be, okay, how much have we spent from our budget? How much is left? So it's probably best to have a tabular view for that report. So right now, where are we in our project of what's been created and how are we moving through the project? So as far as reports created, we've created about 9 budgeting reports. We've created about 5 procurement reports, 1 accounts payable reports, 2 trial balance report, 3 ledger reports. So this is kind of keeping a track of what we're progressing and how we're moving through the project. The travel expense report, we have a lot of those, but those came on board with a different part in the finance department. We also have our accounts payable team, and they've been working in the system as well. So this is kind of showing the collaboration within finance to use this platform to get us on one page with our financial reports. So the one thing we also had to think about was how were we going to get buy-in from the organization? So when initially this project started, it was actually brought to me by one of the IT employees. And, I was like, I'll just take a look at the system. I think it might be beneficial for finance. With the key thing is being able to see an attachment when you run a report. So that was the first thing was, IT collaboration with finance. And then once we got to the collaboration stage with IT, we moved to the budget team. So what I've done is met with my team and, discuss with them that, this might really be a good tool and might help us put our financial report in one system for budget. But hopefully we can get more finance managers on board to actually help in their areas. So moving then to our CFO, get his buy-in so that it's easier for him to now do a top-down approach to talk to the departments when it's time to move into the financial report. And then also, he can also get the finance managers on board to help us to help use the platform and create their reports in the system as well, or use as they fit. And then finally, end users to actually show them, hey, there are some new tools that is available, buy in, and you can use it to look at your budget, to look at invoices being paid by projects. And the whole approach will hopefully get us to a process where we are utilizing one big financial reporting system for the entire organization. The other thing we also had to really think about was security. And some of these are very high level, but the key one that we were worried about is access control, meaning that if you are a manager in one department, we might not want you to see all the reports for an entire organization. So how do we make sure users are getting the security they need and not just security to everything that they might not need, or their job function isn't part of that reporting tool? So that's something we had to really drill down into and think about and make sure that we were doing that right. And then the other thing we really wanted to think about was end user training. So we came up with 3 ways to do our end users training. And what we're going to offer is in-person training. It could be virtually over something like Teams, or it could be a physical training, depending, but we're probably going to do both. The other thing we're going to implement is video training. So we're just going to create videos for the end users to see how to access the system, to run the reports that they need. The key is there will be a lot of reports, but how do you go to the specific one that you need, which is the reason for why we're creating folders, so you can navigate which reports you need directly. And finally, we'll do one-on-one training as needed. So if a new user gets on board, we might just, rather than having a big training, we might just meet with them one-on-one to help them understand the platform. So we have a project plan and how we're trying to move. So currently we are right in between. The first stage was obviously to develop the purpose and goal of the project, then inquire with IT on, is this really doable? Is this something that can work? And is the system going to do exactly what we need it to do? So also looking at different financial system and saying which one might meet the needs of the entire organization. And we eventually did settle on Oracle Apex. So where are we at? We're still developing more reports, testing them, making sure they are working. But our next stage is now to move into the CFO stage to discuss, the reports that we've created. This is the benefits of the new system. And we think that we should try to engage the finance managers to get a buy-in. And from there, we can move into engaging the end users to use the new system as well. So I'm just gonna open up a new file where we can actually take a look at what we've created so far. And we'll look at how the old system looks like compared to the new system. So we'll pull that up right here. So here's our platform of the Noetic system, and this is how it's created. And obviously, this platform does have an update as well. But for our needs, we know, okay, we need to move forward to do new things. So for example, if you go into the financials, it takes a little bit while to run the reports in there, right? And then we also have our platform for the EBS system. I won't go through the old reports the old system, but I will focus more on the new platform, right? So this is the new platform, and so far, yeah, the folders we've created in the new platform, and you can see the organization of it. So one of the big areas we've worked on is the finance reporting budget system. So actually, we've been having an issue with the system not but nonetheless, we'll be able to add more information in the background, and we'll see how the system is working. I think we've been having issue with the system this morning, so I'll just wait and see what's going on with that. But with that, I'm gonna end my presentation, and we'll see if we can take any questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Shola. That was awesome. Hold on, let's see what we have here in the question and answer box. Okay. Charity, outside of finance, how will this data be used by the end users?
So the end users, they are more focused on budget reports. So they always want to see like their monthly budgeting updates. And also they want to also see invoices, right? So for example, if you are an engineering project manager and you have a project that you're running, you will want to track all the cost of the project. And more accurately, you want to see the invoices of that project. So those are various end users that will be in the system that will use it for their own purposes, right? So yes.
Great, thank you. We have a question from Carla. Do you see any issues with the buy-in from management or end users?
Well, I've done a lot of this before. There's always going to be issues when you do a big project like this to move people from an older system to a new system. But the key is how we present the project to the end users and management, and then being able to show them what new efficiencies and effectiveness that we're gaining that makes this worthwhile to do. And we've seen that, I couldn't show the demonstration of the reports or what we've created, but we've seen being able to access attachments easily, being able to look at column graphs, and we've engaged for example, we've engaged our watersheds team. They manage a grant that the district gives out to various communities and various applicants throughout the district. And they were able to utilize the report to show the spend, how much is left on the project spend, and using graphs to actually tell those stories as well. So if we're able to do that, we should be able to get the buy-in. And sometimes you just have to force that change management, right? And I think we would have to influence that as well too as we do the project.
Great, thank you for that answer. So there are quite a few more questions inside the Q&A box, but unfortunately we are already past time. So I would just like to say great job again. We've been really lucky to have you inside Public Management Academy, and really impressed by your project here. Thank you so much for all the work that you put in. It's clear that you worked very hard on it. So we appreciate you. Great job. Okay, everyone. Next up, we have DG Mason. DG is from CMSD. Okay, DG, go for it.
Good morning, everyone. My name is DG Mason. My project is on firearms, educating students on firearms. Called it Safety. The name of it is Safety Settings. I picked this name because it had a soft entrance to it when we introduced it to staff, parents, and students. Okay. While going through my presentation, you will see real live pictures of weapons and a story on a young man who died in the results of gun violence. So just to let you know as we go through the videos. So let's get started. So my talking points will be purpose of the soft setting program, the mission statement, real life gun collections from CMSD students, gun death stats, safety setting programs, safe setting staff and locations, action plan, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. And unfortunately, a story of a lost student due to gun violence in January. The project began in May of 2023, an idea that would help save the lives of students in the Cleveland Metropolitan School District. And 2022, 2023, CMSD has seen an increase of gun-related incidents. Some of the incidents have involved possessions of weapons. Students have found weapons on their way to and from school, and the fatalities of gun violence. So recently, we just had one on Monday. Kindergarten during recess was outside playing around like they normally do. And he found a gun in the bushes, fully loaded with the clip. And he didn't touch it. He reported it to his teacher. The teacher got security. They got it. Thank God that he didn't touch it. His parents taught him the smart way. And I really was appreciative of that. I love to see that happen, but some students don't do that. But it scared me a little bit, but I was so happy that the student did the right thing. My mission statement for Cleveland Metropolitan School District and Safety Division goals are to make the schools a safer environment by educating the students about being safe around guns, reducing injuries and loss of life. One gun off the street saves one life. We will continue to help students understand the importance of safety. So I went through, found some information on the gun death status around, and the rate of children and teens killed by gunfire in 2021 are higher than 1999. The information can be found on, I put on there the CDC, but it's not. That was a mistake, and I forgot to change it. It's the CDPH, which is the Cleveland Development Public Health. So that's a mistake on my part. I apologize. The gun deaths are much common among some groups of children and teens. Boys are 83% and girls account for 17% across the U.S. Between the ages of 12 and 17 accounts for 86% of the gun deaths among children and teens in 2021. Teens from the age of 6 to 11 account for 7% and 7% for 5 and under of the gun deaths. And that's just an overall, not just here in Ohio. So, so you'll know that. The suicide accounts for 36 of the gun deaths among the teenage of 12 to 17. Racial and ethical difference in gun deaths among children indicates Blacks at 46%, whites at 32%, Hispanic 17%, and Asian 1%. And as you see the picture here, this is a true picture that a mobile officer found hiding out in the yard around the school with the clip right there. Safety setting program scope would be to educate students on gun safety and not to teach them how to use a gun or anything like that. It's just to show them that if they encounter one, they find one, to run to an adult to get some help. So, because playing with the gun, when students play with a gun, if it's a bullet in there, they don't know, they're not educated, and it will go off. And when they realize what has happened, not only did if somebody get hit, they feel bad because they did it, and it mentally bothers them for the rest of their lives. So this is one of the steps that we're trying to alleviate, or at least make an effort to. We want to teach you what to do when you find a gun, identify a safe, safe and proper reporting person, keep the students' attention with activities. We'll have activities, and we want the students also to engage with us of what they know about guns and do activities and take on field trips, do some things, some rewarding things, and give out award certificates and let them know that we really do appreciate and we do love them, and we want to keep them safe. We want them to be comfortable around police officers, security officers, so then that way they would feel comfortable with coming to us and communicating with us of anything that they know of that's not safe. We also will need supplies to support the diverse learning styles. And we also, in the beginning, starting off small, 2 hours, maybe 3 times per week. We're gonna pick 2 schools on the west side and 2 schools on the east side. The plan is to start, we wanted to start immediately, but due to some factors that has come up, I'm thinking about starting the new school year and working with Cleveland Police because they do have an Eagles program. And I want to start something, even if it's just a little volunteering until we can get grant money or some type of funding so we can make this program move a little faster, because we definitely need it. Just talked about the location, identified the 4 risk elementary schools, 2 on the west, 2 on the east, starting to focus on the K through 5th grade students. Program will be managed by Safety and Security Division. Ideas staff will make up the safety team. The lead officers assigned to the building will have 2 to 3 volunteer teachers from within the schools, 1 program coordinator for each area, 1 for the east and 1 for the west. And when I say volunteer teachers, it's to help. When I say volunteer teachers, that's to help the staff to be able to communicate, especially when you're dealing with young children, kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade. You need to be able to speak at their language so they will understand, because they're so young. We don't want to fill them with language or knowledge of an adult. We want to meet them where they at their age group so we can connect with them. The action plan is to apply for grants and funding from CMSD, Ohio Board of Education, and other education-based grants. Identify the 4 targets. Identify and hire, select officers, teachers, and a program coordinator. The program design will be training team to educate students about the firearm safety, teach students how to act if they have encountered with a firearm. We want students to comprehend the consequences and handling a firearm. We also want them to feel comfortable in relying on reporting and information necessary to an adult. The SWAT and My Strength, students feeling safe while they're in school settings, preventing accidental shootings, lowering the percentage of juvenile deaths, developing a better relationship with the law enforcement, and the grants. The weakness, students fear retaliation, because that's what, at this day and age with these students, that's how they feel. If they tell and they find out, the other person will go after them. And we just want them to feel comfortable and know that their information is confidential. Army teachers and staff could be kind of dangerous too, because the kids if you're not paying attention, you have to pay attention. They will put their hands or grab or do whatever they've stole teachers' cell phones, keys, wallets, money. They actually have gotten a hold of staff members' personal items. So that's a real weakness right there for me. And the guardian rejection, parents, they may feel like we're trying to teach them how to handle a gun. They may not feel comfortable with us talking about it with their child. Some parents feel that that's their responsibility, and I understand all of that. But at this point, and the rate of the deaths of the students are going, we all need to come together as a community to try to help the students out. The opportunities, students will feel, like I said, feel safer in school. Enrollment will increase. School environment will be positive. Employees retention, more funding, changing the mind and the culture of the school. The threats, backlash from parents, media, gun supporters, increasing curiosity of the firearm, and the Second Amendment. So it's just a lot of things. Nobody is going to be satisfied or happy. It's always going to be backlash or something that's going on. Somebody's going to step in and they might feel like we need to teach them how to, use a gun. It's just every time you come up with something, it's always going to be presented with some type of negativity. So as I develop this program and go through it and try to get through it and get all the support that I can, maybe we can make everybody feel a little bit comfortable, which I know we're not, but we'll do our best. So this is the story that I wanted to inform you about. Unfortunately, I had to meet this young man. I met him. He played football for Glenville. I am a football fan, so I love Glenville football. I go to all the games. I had the opportunity of meeting him, Trayvon. He was killed in January from gun violence, and his senior year, getting ready to graduate, they won the state championship, and it's just unfortunately, and this is something that I would like to help and help others and understand about all this gun violence. And maybe we could slow it down. We may not be able to stop it, but at least we could slow it down, and maybe we can educate these students and help them. That is the end of my presentation. Any questions? And then also too, before I end, so this right here with this young lady, it says, "Please protect me." This is on Superior, 65th, 64th. I was driving down Superior and I saw this and I said, wow, I wonder how many people paid attention and saw this. It's on a box and it's right on the corner. And I drive up and down Superior all the time and never noticed it until I want to say November. In November, I noticed this and I love it. So I hope when you're driving down Superior that you see this young lady. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, DG. I'm just, so grateful that you are pioneering this work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Look, I was trying to prevent the tears.
Like a little
I was
emotional.
trying. I'm sorry. I was trying. I kept saying, "Don't tear up. Don't tear
No,
up."
it's
So
okay. This is just a very, very sad thing that is happening in our communities. And I think if we weren't tearing up that, there would be a problem. So I think it's okay that I'm sure I'm not the only one in the audience that feels the same way. So thank you so much, DG. I really, really appreciate it. Looks like Rob might like to say something before we move to questions.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump in. I'm so sorry that you have to do this kind of project in this day and age, with the violence. And typically, back in the day when I was growing up, the schools were a safe place to be. Like that was where you would go as a safe haven. And now it seems like that is in the line of fire, not just from these domestic attacks that we have, but then just the guns that are available on the streets. So I just want to say that you and your team and everybody from Safety Security are like unsung heroes kind of like angels in disguise, like literally every day to try to protect, you know, the population that you serve. So I just want to give a shout out for that. I also want just to say, like, your growth over this program has been just unbelievable. Like, you're a superstar, and I love not only your presentation, but literally the how you put this together, like the actual presentation itself, like the deck, and just phenomenal. So I'm so proud of you. And
Thank you.
I
I was a little nervous.
no, you
Thank
you
you.
were like just a rock star. Like, and I know that I
Remember
know
when you couldn't
President.
share your screen? You couldn't share your screen. I mean, look at you now. It's just amazing.
Well, yes, I was like, so I've been prepping and making sure that I just prep. I prepped, and even I got up at 5 o'clock. I said, let me set this up, let me prep, let me see how I'm going in and out. So it was like I wanted to make sure, because in the first day presentation I had issues, and then I got a little frustrated and aggravated, and I was like, okay, don't do that. Just work through.
You
You
did
can do
amazing,
this.
DG.
So
Well, I just want to say, like, when you were doing your presentation, I walked over to Kat and I was just like, these are all phenomenal. And I said, what I specifically said to her was like, this is the reason why people come to this program, is to just because of just the, I don't know, just the total evolution and just the magnification of the skills and just empowering people. You are doing like phenomenal work, and I'm so proud of everybody that have gone so far. I have an announcement as far as who's gonna like the best project award, but good luck trying to figure out which one is gonna get that.
No, I was
So
thinking that before, Rob. I'm like, how are we gonna pick a best project? It's gonna be impossible.
it is impossible, but I do want to say that I also want to give you an extra set of attaboys because or attagirls because you were working with can who's your partner?
carry on.
Yeah, Martin Carry On, and he has left. He's actually at CSU. So I just want to let you know that I was really proud also of the fact that you just picked up from your team project and carried on as an individual and just took this over the finish line. So congratulations for that too. So
Thank you.
right. I'm gonna go back on mute so I can keep crying in privacy.
Don't
But
cry, because you're gonna make me
fantastic.
continue to cry.
All right, so we do have quite a few comments and questions, so I'm gonna start going through some of these, okay?
Okay.
Troy Port said, great job, DG, so passionate. Sheldon Coleman said, so moving, I agree. Great job, I felt your passion for this project. Lakia said, a very important work, thank you for your service, DG. Charity would like to know how the school district is supporting your efforts.
Well, right now, as everyone should know, because it's been publicly announced, that we are in a deficit. And so at this point, I don't know, but I did meet assistant principal. She does grant writing. So she is going to work with me on presenting some grants for this program. Still have some more stuff to do. Also too, we have a WAVE program. It's a mediation program that was instituted into the district, which has been going on for a while. And also the mediation program started with Law and Public Service Magnet School in 1983. My class we are the ones that created this the mediation program. The name of the program has changed through the years. So that's going to be a part. I am making a plan to implement this in somehow, some way. I am trying to find a way to do this. As my mom always said, when you're going for a job, always have more than one skill. So then that way, if this doesn't work, you still have two other skills that you have. And so that is the attitude that I'm taking with this.
Thank you, DG. Okay, let's see here. Chisa Clark asked, could this program be included also with the DARE program if that program is still in place? Maybe the police can be included with security to have more open dialogue.
And so now, so we don't have the DARE program anymore in the schools. I haven't even seen, but Cleveland Police, I have been talking to Officer Tony Jones and Officer her first name is Deb. I can't think of her last name, but anyway, I've met with them. I've been down there, met. They have a program. It's called the Eagles, and they have an animated skit and everything. So we're going to also be combining together to work together. So, and that's why I said, no matter how, it's going to be implemented somehow in some way. So I've already met with them. Actually, I met with them, talked with them. Actually, they did come into 2 schools on the west side and spoke to some of the students. So either way it goes, we're going to work this out and we're going to get it in.
Thank you so much, DG. And then there was a suggestion here that you might want to think about. Steven Zimmerman said, in addition to the government grants you have listed, have you considered nonprofit sources such as the Cleveland Foundation?
No, I haven't, but thank you. I'm writing that down.
Yeah, we just visited the Cleveland Foundation the other day with mentoring, and yeah, I would definitely think reaching out to them would be a great idea. Thank you for that, Stephen.
Okay, thank you.
DG, you did such a great job. We are so proud of you. Really,
Thank
really
you.
awesome job. Thank you so much. Daryl is a member of our board. So I'm going to bring him up so you all can be introduced to him. He's a great guy. And he works for the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections. Let's see if I can get him up here. All right, Daryl. Let's see if I can find you on here. There you are. Okay. All right. And Daryl, if for some reason you're in a position where you can't turn your camera on, that's okay. But I'm going to give it a whirl. Okay, Daryl, are you there? Hey, Daryl.
I am. Yes. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. We just wanted to say thank you for being here today, and maybe you could just give a few words to the presenters.
Thank you, Kat. So I just want to say it's good to be here this morning. I am a very strong and longtime advocate of the program. So I'm excited to hear about some of the projects that you've been working on. And I certainly understand the desire to see things move forward in your different venues. So I'm just here to kind of observe a little bit and hear some of the great work and the great ideas that are coming out of your presentations today. So good work, and I will continue to listen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daryl. I really appreciate you being here. Rob, you have something to say, I'm sure.
No, I just want to say thanks, Daryl, for joining us. And I also wanted to let everybody know that Daryl was part of the OCPM program in the old days or the prior administration. And so one of the strategic reasons we wanted Daryl to join us is not just to share his knowledge and expertise in his current job as an administrator, but also to connect the prior program to the new program, to have some connectivity between the two. So I'm really excited to partner with you, and so we can just bring the entire state together like we had back in the old days. So thank you for joining us, and thanks for your leadership.
Thank you, Rob.
All right, have a good day. Thanks for joining.
You as well.
Okay, so next up we have a team. So we have Chisa Clark, Chaz McKnight, San Antonio Gibbons, and Jeffrey Pewitt. They're from the city of Cleveland. All right, take it away, guys.
Good morning, everyone. We'd like to thank you for joining us on today. And we want to share with you our project we've been working on, which is called the Next Level Employee Engagement, where it's all about our employees and our community in mind. Question: do you ever feel overwhelmed or frustrated on your job? Do you have employees that possibly feel like this gentleman right here? We get it. We understand, which is why we created this project to think about our employees and what it is that they need in order to make their jobs a lot simpler through our Next Level Employee Engagement. Within our project, we like to share a little bit about us. Our purpose, our mission, our vision, We want to talk a little bit about our project overall, the tools that we used in our PMA class to analyze, strategize, and illustrate our project. Now let's talk a little bit about who we are, what we do here in the city of Cleveland. My name is Chisa Clark. I work in the Department of Public Works, Division of Parking Facilities. I am the administrative manager for our division. In May of this year will be 5 years for me with the city of Cleveland. Whoop, whoop. And I'll share a little bit about my role. In my role here, I am responsible for planning, managing, and developing work rules, training and coordinating all administrative services. I also look into our personnel department, our staff as an administrator for the division overall. I also oversee financial data, records. I manage specific functions of the role of an administrator, and I'm excited to be here in the city of Cleveland. Jeff, can you tell us a little about you and who you are?
My name is Jeff Pewitt. I'm the manager of property management at Division of Public Works. I have been with the city of Cleveland for about 2.5 years now. I am responsible for all of the construction trades and every city-owned and leased property within the city of Cleveland. I'll pass it on to Chaz.
Yes, my name is Chaz McKnight. I am the manager for parking facilities. I manage all on-street parking operations. I've been with the city roughly 15 years, so I believe I am the vet of the group. And also, right now in the city, we're actually in the process of modernizing our parking system. And I know if anyone has parked downtown in the city of Cleveland, that is a great thing. Everyone's looking forward to that. Well, I get so many calls about credit cards. Why don't meters take credit cards? Well, now it's coming. So we're looking forward to modernizing the parking system. I'm going to send it over to San Antonio. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Good morning again, everyone. I'm San Antonio Gibbons. I'm a district unit leader for the Division of Streets within Public Works. I'm responsible for snow removal, pothole repair, debris cleanup, and street sweeping, and other various assignments that we get from time to time. And Chaz, you is not the senior of the group. I've been with the city for 25 years. I can retire in a few more. I love what I do. My specialty is snow removal. I believe that my station is the best at it. I hear that a lot. But I had a great time doing this project with Chaz, Pruitt, and Chisa, and we think we did a really good job when we come together. We're ready to give it to y'all.
Yes, so let's talk a little bit about the purpose. So within the city of Cleveland, there are many employees who may feel overwhelmed. They may feel inadequate or just even possibly overlooked in their job. This project, we aim to supply employees with the tools, the resources to make them feel secure, confident, and even equipped to perform their day-to-day tasks with excitement and understanding. We're looking to take every effort in training. We want to reward our employees. We want to ultimately bridge the gap between management and the workforce. By bridging this gap, we believe it's going to be more efficient. We will be able to update our procedures and boost just employee morale. With efforts and communication between both parties, we believe that this project can work. Now, if we go and let's talk a little bit about our mission at this point. So in our mission is to create a great working environment internally with all employees in mind, and we're looking to provide a better service externally with our customers and the community. As we can see from this report from teambuilding.com, that 12% of more, 12% of more employees are happy than unhappy. In the current work environment, we know it shows that employee morale is low. There's a lack of advancement. The communication is at a minimum and even or none. Employees get more complacent in their work. They show that work performance is low, and it also goes into the community. When you have low performance, it builds over into the community. We believe that engaged employees are more likely to take ownership. They take ownership of their tasks. They volunteer new ideas. They also construct new ways to be more confident and determined to be the best in their workplace. The value in educating and training employees will initiate new strategies in encouraging and engaging all new and existing employees. Employees will tend to feel noticed. They also will feel valuable. And also they will be an asset to the overall organization. Now, Chisa, can you tell me how we can make this happen?
Absolutely, Chaz. I can tell you that it's all relative to our vision. So when we talk about our vision, we want to talk about communication. We know that in the workplace, failure to communicate effectively can be detrimental to any organization. It doesn't matter if it's government or private sector. Without communication, your organization can fail. So we want to talk a little bit about how we can communicate with our staff so that they can feel engaged in a part of the team. So there's several ways that you can communicate with your staff. You can do that by way of written information. You can do that by speaking to them in oral ways, communicating effectively in that manner. And you can also do that by listening. And by doing all those things, it's likely that your employees will be able to comprehend what the expectations are. If you don't communicate with your employees, how do they know what you're looking for? How do they know what to expect? How do they know what to do? So we believe the first thing that we can do is to communicate with our employees by written ways, oral ways, and verbal ways, listening, and you will get some of that information later on in our slide. Next, let's talk about training. Someone may ask, why is training so important? Well, it is the core part of building an efficient workplace. It allows the employees to become more effective. It also allows them to increase their job satisfaction. So let's just say that you give somebody something to do and you don't communicate and you haven't trained them, well, they are more or less likely to be able to do their job in an efficient manner. And it's a safety issue. Somebody can get hurt. As San Antonio talked about, he works in the streets. So it is very important that we're training our employees. It also reduces employee turnover. It gives us and them the opportunity to improve the quality of work, and it boosts productivity in the organization. So training is essential to the business. Next, let's talk about incentives. Who doesn't like money? That's one of the things that encourage people to do their job. You don't necessarily have to give incentives by way of monetary. There are also non-monetary ways that you can increase and boost morale and performance across the organization. So here in the city of Cleveland, we may not have the funds to be able to do that, but we most certainly don't want to leave that out. We don't want to leave that out and just think that it's not possible. So that's what this project is about, just thinking about the ways that we can improve our employee engagement and ways of monetary, non-monetary ways to show your appreciation to your employees can be awards, certificates, promotions, raises, gift cards, tuition reimbursement, flexible work schedule, like you might want to work at home. And so these are some of the perks that we can give to our employees if it's possible through the city of Cleveland. And I believe that I'll turn it over to Jeff, who has a very important part to display with our presentation. Jeff, take it away.
For our project, next level employee engagement, it's essential to take note of our project strengths, our weaknesses, opportunities, and threats through a SWOT analysis. The strengths, our desire and drive to providing better training and training opportunities equips our workforce with the skills and knowledge to not only perform, but to excel in their role. Our emphasis on improving communication fosters transparency and trust within the organization, creating better collaboration and productivity. Our commitment to implement a reward system recognizes and motivates our employees, driving performance and morale. We also must confront our weaknesses. Resistance to change represents a huge obstacle that would require careful and effective management strategies. We recognize the lack of resources may hinder the full realization of our vision, which will require creative solutions and prioritization. Communication gaps between departments could prevent collaboration and coordinated efforts, hindering the effectiveness of our project. Within these challenges, there are opportunities for growth and innovation. By refining our standard operating procedures, we can streamline workflows, increasing efficiency throughout public works, empowering employees by involving them in decision-making process. It creates a sense of ownership, commitment, and engagement, creating a more agile, adaptive, and resilient workforce. Even still, there are potential threats that could derail our progress. Lack of support from upper management could undermine the credibility of our project. Recognizing that maintaining a healthy work-life balance is essential, requiring proactive measures to support and prioritize employees' wellness. Finally, a high turnover rate poses significant risk to our organization, both in terms of talent retention, departmental stability, and employee satisfaction. And at this time, I'm going to turn the exciting part over to San Antonio. Take it away, San.
Good morning again, everyone. So what I want to talk to you guys is our strategy and our timeline. In March 2003, when we began this project, we also found that Cleveland City's HR was doing a similar project. But their project was going to be responsible for every employee in every department. We have approximately 13 departments in the city of Cleveland, approximately 8,000 employees. So once we found that out, it even made us even more excited about doing this project, to know that we can make a difference for not just public works, but also all city employees in general. Our timeline and our goal is to try to change the mindset to most employees. We want to create a mindset into the employees that everything that they do is important. It's not only important to the mayor, but it's important to the city of Cleveland, the residents, and the commissioners, directors, everyone involved in this process. Excuse me. And even more importantly, we want to make sure that our employees know that they are also important to us. So that's our main goal, change our mindset on how our employees feel, how they think, because right now we have a lot of poison. A lot of people believe one day they can be here, gone. They can be here one day and gone tomorrow, and the city just gonna put somebody in a place. So they don't give us that effort. They don't come with that positive attitude because they just feel like they a bot and they just taking up a place. So once we met with HR, we gave them some of our ideas. We took some of their ideas, and we made a pamphlet. We took all the positive feedback and we made a pamphlet, just so we can create a roadmap about what we want to be, what we want to do, what works, what does not work. Because our goal overall is to take all our employees over to the next level through training, through surveys, and through incentives. Now let me talk about incentives for a minute. Incentives are so important because what it do is it creates a better work experience. The employees are happier because they have something else to look forward to, not just a paycheck. It's just like in sports. If a quarterback throw for 3,000 yards, he may receive an extra $150,000 at the end of the season. If a running back runs for 1,000 yards, he might receive another $75,000 for the season. So they really giving that extra force, that extra attitude, that extra oomph just to try to make a difference because it's going to impact them in the long run, financially and emotionally and spiritually. They feel good about what they're doing. So I believe incentives is going to be the major difference in this process throughout all of the city of Cleveland. So March 23, we wanted to implement change in the culture by changing the mindset of the employees and highlighting the staff so they can perform better services for the residents and feel good about it, because them feeling good is very important to what we're trying to do. Because that when you feel good about something, you invest in it, you give more, you accept it more, you look forward to it. But when you have a negative perception of something, you don't get that. You lackadaisical, you lazy, you tired, you sleepy. You don't want to put that extra work in. So what we want to do is we're going to take our employees to the next level through surveys, through training, and through those incentives. So after we got our pamphlet together, we gave it to our director so it can be approved, once it be approved. They took their time, went through it very carefully, and inspected it. And then once it was approved, June 23, I'm sorry, we started working on distribution of the surveys. We drafted up a series of questions like, do you feel comfortable providing feedback to your supervisor? If yes, yes, and why not? If no, why not? What areas is most challenging for you? And how can your supervisor make you more effective in those areas? What areas do you feel like you need to do more training in? And in the areas that you are good at, are you willing to assist in training? We figure by asking these type of questions, it opened up a high level line of communication. And it shows our transparency. And will create a better work environment. Another form of communication that we was working on, we want every employee in the city of Cleveland to get an email, be part of this email chain that we have. Because what that allows, it allows every employee to feel connected to the mayor because they getting direct information from the mayor, direct information from the directors. They getting information about our budgets. The city will be so transparent with them, they can't help but to receive the information and be part of the whole city experience, not just feel just like a regular employee that you just come to work, do your job, get off work, go home and take care of your responsibility. We really want to create this feeling, make them feel like they are really part of us. So November 23, the surveys were sent out to the commissioners. Some was approved, some wasn't. The ones that wasn't, we had to change, manipulate a little bit, and then it took us some time to do that because we wanted to make sure that it was just right. Once we issued back out to the commissioners for us to get the green light, then we'll throw out the surveys. And once everything is approved, I'm sorry, I skipped a part. Last but not least, we want to show appreciation and recognize our employees for the hard work they do through birthday clubs, newsletters, showcasing several employees and briefing some of their highlights, social gatherings and outings, and at the end of the year, we want to have a recognition ceremony for everybody that did well for that season. It's just like a bonus. It's just like receiving a bonus in the private sector, because at the end of every quarter, people that works well, they receive bonuses. So we want to do some form of that. And once all of this is approved, we'd like to implement it in the summer of 2024. And that's pretty much the meat and potatoes of, what me and my team that we had to go through, all the work that we put in. Great work, team. And Chisa, is there anything else that you would like to add before we close?
Well, sure. I just want to conclude our project by just saying that we are still in the works of looking at this program overall to see exactly what we can do to make the workplace better, more efficient, and just with the employees and community in mind. We still have quite a ways to go to be able to implement and put it out there, but we believe that this will allow our employees to feel connected, to feel a part, to be able to have a say through way of surveys, to be able to share their ideas and thoughts with us. And then as we continue to grow in this program and we continue to look into this project and look at SOPs and revise some of the things that we currently do here with our employees in mind, we know that it will change the dynamics of the workplace in the areas that we are in. So we are inspired, we are excited about the program, and we're hoping that this can be implemented in other divisions once everybody see how our employees are more engaged and just move into the next level. So with that in mind, we'd like to thank our peer review who helped us along the way. They gave us ideas and great inspirations about what we can add or maybe what may not work in municipalities. Though we know that there are some strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And then we want to thank our instructors who helped us along the way, as well as the PMA staff. So at this time, we open up the floor for anyone who have any questions. This is your opportunity to ask as we welcome your questions.
Wow. Well, you know, I had the pleasure of viewing this 2 days in a row, and it was even better the second time. So thank you so much. You all did amazing. I'm going to go ahead and get right into the questions and comments because we have quite a few. Okay. The first one is from Charity. Charity says she wants to know, did you research or survey staff on the kinds of non-monetary incentives they would most want?
So we did research on what type of monetary, non-monetary incentives that we can do with our HR department as we looked at, can we give money? If we can give it, how much? So we did investigate that. We were told at this time non-monetary wasn't available. So non-monetary questions will be on the survey so that they can tell us what they want to do. We don't want to choose for them. We want them to tell us what ways that we can show them appreciation in their own right.
Great, thank you. Let's see, we have Lakia Montgomery. Lakia asks, employee recognition can be a whole project in itself. Have you thought about how to start? I would definitely suggest an employee survey. No need in advocating for fringe benefits that don't align with an employee's needs or work-life balance.
Yes, and if you looked at our timeline, we're hoping that we can have that survey out this month, possibly. We did send it over for review and approval. Some of those things we needed to revise. So we are looking, hopefully by the summer, of having something out there and back to revisit what it is that they're asking of us.
Great, thank you. Let's see, we have Kyle Cruson. Kyle says, this project is great. I love the energy of the team. You mentioned that during your SWAT that a threat was not gaining support from upper administration. What is the likelihood that this project will come to fruition in one form or another? And what is the likelihood that it will be funded into 2025?
That's a very good question. The likelihood of it going further, unfortunately, is not a decision that I can make. That would come from upper management. Being that I am the newest member to a city, being here only 2.5 years, that's one spot that I am unaware of with the politics involved. So it comes down to us presenting a workable program. And just trying to convince upper management. In the end, the decision falls among them. I don't know if if you have a better explanation.
No, I think you're spot on. Thanks, Jeff.
Can I jump in there for a recommendation for the actual maybe support / advocacy and champion? And I know he's not on, I don't think he's on the call right now, but Eduardo Romero is one of our key stakeholders who is now over in risk management. We've been working with Eduardo on some things on our Lean Ohio boot camp, but also to align a strategic partnership between the city and the university. And one of the things we've been talking about from his perspective is just about succession planning and overall advancement and development of the staff. And so we just been talking at a high level, but about this, what it looks like. But I think that he would love this project. And I think that as far as his connections across the city of Cleveland might be helpful. So I'm not sure if you all know who he is or if I can help with to advocate for that. Let me know what I can do to help put a bug in different people's ear, because this is exactly what our conversation is about. And it's a great pilot program, great case study, and a great template I think that they could just leapfrog from. So just let me know how I can advocate for you all.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Rob. That would be awesome.
Yep. Great job.
Hey, Daryl, Daryl from our board. Daryl says, I like your desired outcomes and proposed structures for delivery. I also applaud your preparation to deliver a seamless presentation. And I would agree, and we are going to end it at that because we are at time.